Yo, this is Itano Plays Pokemon Shining Pearl, and you can see the sandstorm continues here in Route 228. Now we get more south to see what we can find. What sort of moves have you taught? That tells me how good you are. Well, if you insist, how about I show you my stuff? Oh, no, not like that. Ooh, Delcatty. Delcatty, a pretty sassy looking cat from Generation 3, normal type. So not much to worry too much about. Let's just hit it with our strongest move. Here comes Play Rough. A fairy move. Doesn't really do much damage because steel types are resistant to fairy. Delcatty hits a powerful hit in return. That's how you do it. We're also at 68 now. Very close to the 70s. Here comes Yamna. So Yamna is a bug and flying type. From generation number 2. So it will not like an ice beam. Here comes Ancient Power. Ancient Power is a special attack rock move. Doesn't really do much, but it does proc. Now look at this. Attack, defense, special defense, and speed increases by 1. Yeah, Ancient Power has a small chance that that's gonna happen. Doesn't help it though, because its weakness to ice is really visible, and Yamna is gonna go down. Yamna has a cool evolutional form though, it looks pretty nasty. We won't see it here. Youch! You like my moves? They're all cool. So now we are here on the southern part. You can see there's still more Beldoms here. This is because there's a swarm of Beldom on Route 228. That's why they pop up so a lot. You can't interact with the Beldoms that are there though. The only reason they come up and show up like this is just to show you that they are there. So you're walking on the grass, there's a very high chance. I think it's like 40 or 50% chance you'll meet a Beldom, and the other chance is just regular Pokemon that can appear on the route that the swarm is in. But enough sandstorms, let's head to Route 229. And now we enter more forest areas of the eastern part of this place. So here we have some regular grass, and then we have tall grass here too. You can see my movement is getting slowed because of the big heavy grass. Trainers here too. When eyes meet, that's when a battle starts. Yeah, think about that. That's been the king for generation 1 to 8. And then generation 9 comes in. And now you can even choose, which is nice. But don't worry guys, when I do my Let's Play of generation 9, we will battle pretty much everything we can see. Maybe we'll do some PvP in Gen 9. We'll see. Intimidate comes in. Intimidate decreases attack power, but that doesn't really care for me. Flash Cannon, Surf, and Ice Beam are all special attacks. They are not affected by the attack stat. Let's just use Surf on the Granbull. Probably should have used the Steel move actually, because Granbull is one of the Pokemon that got in a change of typing. Granbull doesn't maybe look like it, but it's actually a fairy type now. Snubbull and Granbull. You can hear the sound, super effective. Because Granbull is a fairy type in generation 6 and onwards, but doesn't really help it much. Rapidash is level 64, plus 2 and everything. That's pretty good. And this be a victory. You won't let me win? Nah, why would I do that? That's not fun. Maybe not for you, but not fun for me either. Full restore. Very powerful healing item. It restores all your HP to full, and it also restores all status as well. Use the cut. Get through the grass place here. Not repel used, and here we pick up a scrap of Reaper Cloth. That is a very important item as well, just like the protector we got last episode. Reaper Cloth causes certain Pokemon to evolve, and the evolved Pokemon is Dusclops. Dusclops evolves into Dusknoir. This guy gives us a nugget, which is nice. Nugget is nice because they have no real value to you except that vendors, they love it. I work to protect beautiful natural environments. My Pokemon are my constant companions while I work. Really? So here we got Pokemon Ranger Deshawn. And Deshawn has Spinda. Spinda's a cute Pokemon from Generation 3. With these really weird eye and ear patterns that swirls around. It's a normal type though. And sadly, this Pokemon has no evolutions, which is kind of sad. There's so many Pokemon out there that really need evolutions. Like Pachirisu from this generation, you have Plusle and Minun, you have Spinda as well, for example. But hopefully we'll see some changes. Here's another Pokemon that doesn't have an evolution, is Kecleon. Should have evolution 2. But there's been changes. I mean, you saw in generation number... I mean, not generation 9 or 8, but talking about... in generation... I mean, in Pokemon Legend Arceus, that's what I was about to say. We saw some Pokemon getting evolutions. We saw, for example, Quillfish getting an evolution in its new form. Because the regular Quillfish doesn't evolve, but the Hisuian Quillfish, which is now a poison dark type, evolves into Overquill. So there is a chance. Oh my gosh, my poor Pokemon. Oh my gosh, indeed. I'm sorry. I beat him on purpose though. Let's cut down this one as well. And we grab another item, and that's going to be a bowl of protein. One of the vitamins. And protein, if I remember correctly, increases attack power. So if you want EV training with attack power, then that's one you can choose. And from the desert area, we now enter the resort area. The ribbons indicate members only. Nothing is too good for my Pokemon. There's no mountain too high to climb. That's how I look at it. I do apologize. This is an exclusive establishment open to a selected few. Might consider a special stage for the cream of the crop. First to enter, start by collecting lots of ribbons. Yeah, this is sort of like a highly established place for people, I guess. Need a lot of ribbons on Pokemon. If you want to see where you have the ribbons, just go to your Pokemon in the menu. Then you go here, so it doesn't have ribbons. So none of... We have ribbons on some Pokemon. Now we have the Sinnoh Champion ribbon for being in the Hall of Fame. The other ribbons too, for example, using Pokemon contests and everything like that. So there are more ways to getting ribbons. I spent a lot of time in the pool. Will it melt into the water the way Vaporeon can? Probably not, I guess. I traveled a long way to make my beloved Pokemon even more beautiful. That'll make it love me even more. Is that how it works? I'm kind of stuck. They're telling me there's no shop here. How am I supposed to get ready for the road? You know how you can dig up cool stuff in the ground underground? People are saying they're digging up new different stuff. Yeah, he's talking about that is because after you beat the whole of the Pokemon League, the Pokemon Underground changes in levels and items you also can acquire. That's why it's always good to go to the Grand Underground after you beat the Pokemon League. Hidden item here, another nugget, which means more cash for us. All I need to happy is my TV. What more could I want? I learned so much sitting here, I'm absorbing knowledge. For instance, I learned all about Poketap called a marking map. They say a marking map can track Pokemon that travel around from place to place. Never met any traveling Pokemon myself, but I heard about them. Yeah, that's an important app because wild Pokemon, like for example, you have the roaming Pokemon, the one we had, what's the name again? Mesprit. Yeah, Mesprit, one of the two Pokemon we could find. That one is roaming around. You can only fight it after you encounter it first time, then it will roam, and then you have to use the app. Do I even have it here? The clock, calculator, note, memo note. There's a step counter, our team, friendship checker. Item finder. Some random clock. Here's a clock. Yeah, here's the marking map. So now we can see here. This is where we are now. And there's a roaming Pokemon here, which is probably Mesprit. Mesprit is now located around Floroma Town, I think. Yeah, Floroma Town. So if I had to go there, but the problem is that if you fly to Floroma Town, most likely it will have then moved away as well. So it's not really easy to do it. So, and yeah, roaming Pokemon, they will carry on their HP and stats, changing everything, even status changes like paralyzing and so on to other battles, but they can't flee, which can be very, very annoying. That's the reason why I don't really like to go for a roaming Pokemon, because it's just tedious and it's a bit RNG. Here's a Pokemon Center as well in the resort area. One of the 3 town areas in the battle zone. This is the third last one we've found. We have the fight area, where we started, where the battle tower is. You also have the survival area to the north, near Stark Mountain, where Buck lives, and then we have the resort area down here. There isn't much else to do here in the resort area, so... Did we visit this house? It's not only Sinnoh's best to gather at the battle tower. We're talking about the greatest trainers in the world. It must be cool to get your own Pokemon and battle against people like you from far and wide. The weather and the terrain here are much more extreme than what you'll find in Sinnoh. I imagine there will be a large variety of Pokemon here. Wow, you've seen all the Pokemon in Sinnoh? That's awesome! I could try with Pokemon when I get big like you. Yeah, so what they're talking about is that there are a lot of Pokemon that you can only find here in this game, because they are not in the Sinnoh Pokédex. Plus, of course, in this remake, you have the Grand Ground, which gives you even more Pokemon. So now Route 2029 has the grass area we just came to, and then you also have the water area here. It says you surf. Probably also put up a max repel to continue. Because now, from 229, we enter Route 230, which is the final route of this game. We have swimmers here, and everything like that. Like this guy. A trainer's riding a Pokemon. I like that. We got a battle. Fine, I guess. Face off against swimmer Glenn. He has 2 Pokemon. The first one of those are Seal. So Seal from Generation 1, dual type water and ice. I think? Or is it Dugong? Can't remember if Seal was an ice type too. No, it's not. Okay, so the pure water type. It's Dugong, its evolutional form, that becomes a ice type dual type. It uses a dive, which is one of the old Asian moves, which is basically the same thing as dig. It's just a water type version of dig. So you hide on the ground and then or on the water, and then you strike next attack. And that's a physical attack this time around. Counter it easily. You can use a Pokemon that can be resistant to water, or just flap in the air to be immune to it. Dive now. So yeah, Dive is basically the water version of Dig. Thief. Don't do much. At least we do some damage. Napoleon's now level 65. Very good. Next up is Starmie. Starmie, dual type water and psychic, which is very interesting. Let's just stick with Staraptor because the move we just used, Thief, is super effective against Starmie. Starmie is a very cool Pokemon because Starmie has a moveset with TMs and so on that is very, very versatile. I mean, Starmie can learn a lot of moves. He can learn like Thunderbolt and all that kind of thing. He can have a really, really high arsenal of moves. It's very fast. High special attack, but the rest is kind of meh. Awesome, you're real wild child. Kind words, I guess. Up here we have a grassy field. If you want to capture some wild Pokemon, you can find them here. Not really much else. There's an item here as well. What is it? Rock Smash. And here we find a rare candy. Rare candy is a nice thing because it increases the levels of Pokemon by 1. But do note though that the level up is that it does only level up to that you are exactly on the level. So if you almost level up, rare candy can actually feel sort of useless to use because rare candy only goes up to the exact level. So let's say if I were to use rare candy on Staraptor, will be useless because it only needs 4200 XP to level up. Even worse for Luxray. So you better use it on a Pokemon, let's say for example Empoleon, who just leveled up. Because then it means rare candy is worth 12,000 in terms of HP. So we use it now. See, 12,000 XP. And now I'm 66. Can also use rare candy on Medicham. Again, 10,000 XP. So yeah, the rare candy is basically the EXP required to level up is what it gives you. Let's do a little double battle. Are your Pokemon growing? Check out my dynamic form. Victory is assured. Ah, cockiness, eh? I like that. Swimmer Sophia and Swimmer Sam is next. With Mantike and Chinchou. 2 Pokemon from generation number 2. Actually, that's a lie. Mantike is not generation 2, Mantike is generation 3. But its evolution form is generation 2. Chinchou though is generation 2. Chinchou is an interesting typing. It's dual type water and electric, which is very, very uncommon to find. So it has a nice thing to counter a lot of Pokemon. But it does become weak to ground though. Which is fine, like the only weakness electric has is ground. Can use Ice Beam here onto Mantike because Mantike is also flying type. Don't really have much to do to defeat the damage against these two. I can do Chinchou to takedown. Chinchou is a first stage evolution, that's why it doesn't really have a lot of stats. Lantern, its evolution form, is much stronger though. And Empoleon and Mantike is even worse because Mantike is considered like a baby Pokemon. It does take this Ice Beam though, because Mantike and Mantin, the evolutional forms, do have very high special defense. Speaking of Lantern, here it is. That's the evolved form of Chinchou. So let's just do the same moves again. Down onto Lantern. Will survive. Ice Beam onto Mantike. Which will take it down. So yeah, Mantike is a baby Pokemon, doesn't really have a lot of stats, but it does have very high special defense, which is sort of like the strength of Mantike and Mantin. Aqua Ring. Aqua Ring is a move that causes the user to restore a bit of HP every turn. So it can be very useful in long battles when you know you're gonna survive for a long time. Here is Mantin, dual type water and flying, so it is very, very weak to electric and is not immune or resistant to ice because flying is weak but water is not. Let's use the same thing again. Take down on Lantern. Oh, that's a KO. Just what we need to KO. Rapidash though. In the red zone. Recoil is starting to do its work. Ice Beam on Mantine. Critical hit. And he only took half HP, so that just shows that Mantine has a lot of special defense. I remember on Rapidash, that's going to be a KO for sure. No chance to survive that. Oh, it does! Rapidash survives because of high happiness. Really nice. Should we get to Alot, I guess? Can do Fire Blast. That's not a recoil move, at least. Fire Blast. Helps me learn. Not much damage though, because Mantine is resistant to fire. Ice Beam. That one's gonna land, and that's gonna be enough. But yeah, Mantine has very high special defense. That's why it'll be able to survive pretty much. Maybe they're too grown up. Oh, that's how it is. Sometimes I wonder if these trainers actually, even though they are, you can face them one by one, they sort of like cooperate or something. I don't know. Now we're here. Remember when we were here last time? The start of Battle Zone. This place was locked because the trainer didn't want to move because we need the national Pokédex. Now that we have it, we return and we arrive at the fighty area. So we are now back. And that's basically the whole of Battle Zone now explored from top to bottom. Or even round the clock. Next time though, we're going to fight a certain friend of ours. You saw that Barry was nearby, right? Now on weekends, basically Saturdays and Sundays, I don't know if Friday as well, but it's Saturdays and Sundays, Barry will be appearing here in the battle zone, and you can fight him to get another rival battle. That's sort of like this sort of, can't call it the final battle, but you can fight him every weekend, so that's cool though. I'm not sure if it's one per weekend or it's one per day when there's weekends. Like you fight him one day on Saturday, one on Sunday, then you have to wait for next weekend. But next time, guys, we're gonna fight Barry, and then we're gonna return back to the areas of the Stark Mountain and the survival area to see what we can do with Buck. And he got the Magma Stone. What does it mean? What does the rumbling mean? We'll see. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on social media. That's great for now. See you next time. It's my journey in Pokemon Shining Pearl. Continue.